Hey, welcome back to Saint Luminus. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, then hit the notification bell so you can be notified the next time I put out a video. Today, I want to talk about Guthrie Govan. I'm shocked not many people have been talking on message forums and whatnot about the latest rig rundown with the Aristocrats. More specifically, Guthrie's setup. And for those of you that don't know, Guthrie Govan is considered one of the premier, maybe even best guitarists on the planet. In fact, Rick Vietto's comment on Guthrie's improvising is that this is like the scariest guitar players on the planet. And I followed Guthrie for about 15 years or so now, and he's just amazing. But here is what is really interesting. For this latest Aristocrats tour, Guthrie Govan has gone all digital. Yeah, and I mean all in on it. He is using an Axe-Fx FM9 floor unit with a FR speaker. And this is just shocking to me because when I first started following Guthrie, he was playing Cornford amps. And so for a little while there, God, I really wanted a Cornford amp. I still kind of do, actually. And then he made the switch over to Victory amps, and that's what he's been playing for a while. But when he toured recently with Hans Zimmer, he used an Axe-Fx unit, and that's understandable. You know, it's Guthrie is just part of a big overall production, so the guitar doesn't need to be out front. But now it's the Aristocrats, where Guthrie's guitar is a big thing, and you would just think that somebody like Guthrie Govan would say, "Hey, I play my best through real amps, regardless of anything else. The real amps are how I can express myself the best." But no amps, no guitar cabinets on stage, no amps, just the Axe-Fx FM9, a volume pedal and an expression pedal and a little FR speaker. That's it. Guthrie says he's happy with it. He says Marco and Brian, his bandmates in the Aristocrats, they're happy with it. Now, as far as feel, like the feel of playing through a real amp, Guthrie says it's close enough for what he's doing. The one thing he says that he can't get because you're using an FR speaker instead of a real guitar speaker cabinet is the way the sound beams out, that it's different with the FR speaker. He says he's not able to stand on certain parts of the stage and get certain overtones to come out depending on where you stand on the stage. Steve Vai talks about this. Joe Satriani definitely talks about that. And I know that feeling. It's a killer feeling. But for what he does with the Aristocrats, that's probably not so necessary. And further, just listening to the YouTube video, and I'm listening through my audio setup here. I'm not listening through laptop speakers, so I'm getting at least a better representation of the sound. I gotta tell you, it sounds great. I didn't see the Aristocrats, so I don't know how it sounds, but just the video, yeah, that Axe-Fx, it sounds good, but ultimately it's about how it sounds in the context of the rest of his bandmates. And I just think this is incredible that a guy you would just think is like, hey, let me play through my amps and that's the best way I express myself, has decided to go all digital modeler. I'm surprised no one is talking about that he's decided to tour with just an Axe-Fx unit, not even a hybrid of, I'll still use guitar speaker cabinets, but I'm also using the modeler. And it's just all modeler, all FR speaker cabinet. Unbelievable. Now, here's the thing. I decided to dig a little deeper, and it appears the Axe-Fx or modelers are being injected more and more into live playing. And one example is Phil Cullen from Def Leppard. There's a recent rig rundown of Def Leppard, and Phil Collen is also all modeler. He's not using amplifiers on the stage. Instead, he is using an Axe Effects unit, and he's using in-ears. But that's how he's doing his guitar playing. Now, regardless of what you think about Def Leppard, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not a huge fan of Def Leppard, but still, nevertheless, he's touring with just the Axe Effects unit. And apparently, the story goes that when Phil was touring with the G3 tour with Joe Satriani, John Petrucci, and Phil, by the way, I saw the San Diego show. Amazing, kick-ass show. Apparently, backstage in the green room, Phil heard somebody playing, and it just sounded incredible. And he saw that it was John Petrucci playing through his Axe Effects there in the green room. And I assume this was just John, warming up or practicing something. That rather than use a little amp backstage, he's using an Axe Effects unit. And Phil said, "Dude, I need one of those." And lo and behold, there you go. He uses it for the whole tour. The other one is Neil Schon. Neil Schon has spent 50 years playing guitar, probably a little bit more than that. And he's also using an Axe Effects FM9. Now, to be a little bit more fair, as I watched this rig rundown, this is fairly recently, another recent little rig rundown. But this was done by his guitar tech, and he's showing that Neil is running the FM9, and what he does is that to monitor, he has some side fills, some FR speakers for a side fill. He also has 2 more FR speakers behind him. I believe he's also doing in-ears, but it is a hybrid because at the same time, Neil also has 2 real amplifiers and 2 4x12 cabinets also going on behind him to get that little mixture, because Neil wants to have a little mixture of the Axe Effects going through FR cabinets combined with the real amps through real cabs, and adjust the level accordingly. Not all of us can afford to bring amps and Axe Effects and mix and match all we want. Some of us are really simple. So as far as Guthrie goes, or anyone, it makes sense. Guthrie just has the floor unit, the volume pedal, and the expression pedal, and a little FR monitor. And that's it. I mean, I started live playing, in the 90s, and, the back-breaking work of taking a rack of amps and effects and a 4x12 speaker cabinet. Even worse when the gig was on a second floor and you had to lug this shit up to the second floor, and to have all this stuff boiled down to just a floor unit and a little FR monitor. That's really, really tempting, especially as we get older. Like, fuck that, man. I don't want to go lug around a 70-pound speaker cabinet or a 70-pound rack filled with gear, or much less pedal boards have been getting bigger and bigger, which is hilarious to me. So those are getting heavy. 50-pound pedal board. So I want to know what you think. What do you guys think? Is this kind of like the sign of the times where even the old faithful guitar players, the Joe Bonamassas, the Carl Verheijens, the Andy Timmons, that eventually the modeling is going to get so good that they're going to say, for the amount of expense and work, it's these modelers like an Axe Effects or a Quad Cortex are close enough. Than bringing all these amps, especially, or Eric Johnson. Will this happen that Eric Johnson says, rather than bring my vintage amps that aren't always that dependable, I just bring this Axe Effects unit and I get sounds that are close enough and I can still express myself? I would like to think, no, that they'll be diehard amp guys all the way to the end, but watching Guthrie have a change of heart for something so complex and eclectic like what he does with the Aristocrats, I don't know, man. I'm just really shocked. So it's having me rethink everything about what I want to do when I do go and play live. I mean, do I really need to bring an amp anymore? I don't know. Or maybe even a hybrid thing. It's It's crazy. So let me know what you think. If you use AxeFX or the Quad Cortex or Line 6 or even a head rush, but I think no one's using head rush anymore. If you or even a Kemper, because a Kempler is more of a profiler than a modeler, so there is a difference. But if you are using it, and I'm talking about live context, because recording is a little different. But in a live context, I mean, are you using the AxeFX, and what is your experience compared to lugging real amps? There's a practicality issue to think about here as well. Love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Do it right now. Tap that notification bell so you can be notified the next time I do a video. And I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys real soon. Keep on playing.